feet with a beautiful one too.
First piece of football silverware up for grabs this season, that is the AIA Community Shield. That and 5 things to look out for in this season's AIA Singapore Premier League. This is SportOn Singapore. Tampines Rovers claiming the AIA Community Shield at the Jalan Besar Stadium in an enthralling match.
And it was supposed to be Tampines Rovers up against Brunei DPMM, but DPMM couldn't travel because of the travel restrictions due to COVID-19. So Hougang United, at the 11th hour, only 3 or 4 days of preparation, stepped in and did put a second string side because of the AFC Cup match a few days later, and it showed because it was quite even 20 minutes, but after that, Tampines Rovers then showed their class, exerted their dominance. Halftime was 0-0, but I think Gavin Lee gave them a good team talk at halftime, and then they just ran away with it in the second half.
Well, 2 local clubs that did very well last season, of course, both Hougang United as well as Tampines Rovers. And will we actually see, for the first time, a local club winning the Singapore Premier League since 2014, Warriors FC winning the SPL, or back then it was known as the S-League.
Yeah, it was Brunei DPMM and Albirex Niigata sharing the titles between themselves. But 2020, I think Tampines Rovers, under Gavin Lee, under a year with him, and now continuity in 2020, I think they can challenge for the title, definitely, as they did last year. Hougang United ran them very, very close, and Brunei DPMM as well last year, so they are one to watch out for. Lion City Sailors is a team that we have to talk about for sure. The first privatised club, heavy investment, superstar names. Will they click? Will they gel? That is another question on the pitch, but it's going to be very exciting and possibly one of the more open seasons in the SPL.
Yeah, definitely, Duncan. And of course, there's a lot of talk on social media about the branding of Lion City Sailors. Let us know what you think, good or bad, but it's definitely exciting times. I think in the football fraternity in Singapore, plenty of people who think that it's a good move, and they're hoping that more clubs could be privatised in future because that can only be good for Singapore football. Plenty
of young players. Obviously, the rule is still there that the young under-23 players, you have to have 3 in the lineup for every match. But for the young Lions, who I recently saw, they have some 16-year-olds in the squad playing professional football for the very first time. Karan Sopti and Khairi Nadim, if you remember, they were playing in the AFC Under-16 Championship qualifiers at Jalan Besar Stadium last September. Both of them were standout players. Karan Sopti with several good saves, Khairi Nadim scoring 2 goals as well. 16-year-olds playing against big men. It'll be interesting to see how they fare.
Speaking of young players, of course, we've got our very own Ilhan Fandi playing for the Young Lions. He scored some real crackers at the tail end of last season. Hopefully more to come this season.
He scored 2 goals in his professional debut with the Young Lions, and this year he will team up with Mark Ryan Tan. So you have Fandi's son with Stephen Tan's son, both players who wreaked havoc in the Malaysia Cup for Singapore, and now their sons taking up the responsibility, and it will be great to see if we will see Mark Ryan Tan down the wing with a cross and maybe Ilhan Fandi with a scissor kick or something like that.
Oh, definitely exciting times, and hopefully those will be on our review tapes for years to come. Speaking of clubs though, I mean there have been some notable inclusions as well as exclusion in the Premier League this season. Of course, the biggest news being Tanjong Pagar, a club with so much history, making a return to the SPL.
Tanjong Pagar, of course, started in the S-League as it was known back then in 1996, so one of the pioneer clubs. Good to see them back. They have not had much time to prepare. I think a month, maybe a month and a half to prepare, to get players, to get everyone fit, to get all the players to gel ahead of a new season. And their first match of the season, Lion City Sailors. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare.
Not to forget to mention that this season will also see the exclusion of Warriors FC for reasons that have been plaguing the club for quite some time now.
Yeah, financial issues that have been plaguing the club since 2018. And in all honesty, it was something that was going to happen, still not resolved in terms of the whole contract situation and players being owed money. But for Warriors FC, the most successful club in Singapore football, 9-time league champions, sitting out how far the Giants have fallen. It's a sad state, but they might return in 2021, so let's see what happens.
Indeed, and we do hope that you join us in supporting our Singapore Premier League.
You know, in the past you could only watch it on TV. A few years ago you could start watching it online, but now every single game you can watch on Singtel and on OnePlay Sports.